Welcome to another episode of Thrasher Opera House Presents. Today I'm talking with Ric Damm, board member at the Thrasher Opera House, but also our house photographer. So, hi Ric, how are you?
I'm great, Rachel. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming in.
This is cool. I know you've been talking about doing this for a long time, and what is this? You've got like 5 episodes at least under your belt now?
Five or 6, something like that. Yeah. We learn a little something every time.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a lot to learn.
Yeah. Oh. Hey.
That's the fun part, right?
Grow as you go.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting that when you first got connected to Thrasher, it was kind of completely unintentional. I emailed you out of the blue wondering if you could hook us up with a student at the college who would take pictures at a Thrasher show. For anyone who doesn't know Ric, he works at Ripon College. So
the day job.
Well,
the bill-paying job.
Well, anyway, I was expecting to get a couple students to come and hoped for the best. And then we got you instead, which is 10 times better. No offense to students, but this worked out to be one of the best connections I could have made in that circumstance.
I think for both of us, right? I think it's worked out well for both of us because I've really enjoyed it. And I've experienced a lot of music that I wouldn't have otherwise. And, I think that's, the strength of a place like this.
That's
really,
part of it.
Is come to a show not expecting much. Like, oh, okay, I'll show up. I'll take some pictures. And like, wow, that was good.
I like this artist now.
Yeah, I like them. Exactly.
So I guess I'm curious, what did you expect the first time you walked in here to take photos? What was your first show? Barefoot Movement?
It was, yes. I believe it was Barefoot Movement.
Good memory.
Yeah, for you. I couldn't remember, but I've done so many now.
You've done so many. Yeah, so...
And that was like, in pandemic time frame, that's like a decade ago now.
Yeah, eons. But we didn't really know what to expect either. So you showed up and we honestly didn't even see you taking the pictures. And then at the end of this, we get all of these great pictures of them in the green room, of people enjoying our show, enjoying the gallery and the bar. And all of a sudden we were like, wow, we get to have all this footage of what it's like to be at a Thrasher show that we can show the world. Because it's one thing to talk about it. And I say this all the time, don't take it from me because I work here and I should be saying how wonderful it is. Right. But now we get to show people like, this is what you'll experience. So it's an awesome tool. You did Barefoot Movement, and then you went on to do Willie Porter, and you've photographed his shows a couple of times now, and I feel like you've made a pretty good connection with him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny because with Willie, I mean, he's a great guy. It's anybody who has had any experience with Willie would, I'm guessing, say he's a great guy. In fact, he called me out of the blue last week or the week before, after the show, and he's like, "I want to pay you for the pictures that you took." Right? And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "What? No, you don't owe me anything." He's like, "Well, I don't think people understand or appreciate all of the." The costs that you have in your equipment and just the value of your skills and abilities. And I'm like, I appreciate that so much. I really do. I said, if you feel like you need to, I'm not going to tear the check up if you send it to me. But it's not why I'm doing it. Well, right? I said, I'm doing it for Thrasher, number one, right? To help promote things that are happening here. And I do it for the artists.
Well, you are a true music lover.
I am. Yeah.
You're going to how many concerts this week? 3 or 3?
Yeah.
I think your average per week is like 3 concerts a week. I don't know how you keep up with that.
Let's narrow it down so that my wife doesn't get too upset at me.
She knows. She lives with you.
Oh, I know. I was told to tone it down a little.
Well, I mean, that's up to you. But
yeah.
But you really
I love
are
it.
a true music lover.
I
If you're
am.
going to go to 3 concerts a week, it's because you truly love it and you have a passion for the music and the artists and what they do and the
Right.
whole industry.
Right.
And how lucky for you that now, you started at Thrasher, but now you've been taking photos at all sorts of venues, the Sylvie, the Majestic,
Yep.
the Bend.
Yep.
So do you just call them up? Hey, can I take
That's
pics?
kind of how it started. It was, again, it started here with the Thrasher, and then things shut down with the pandemic. We did a few things, some smaller shows, and some things working through that, and then a group put together some shows at the Barrymore that they were just basically live streams, right? And there was no audience whatsoever. And I thought, well, I'll reach out, and I reached out to the artists, right? Like, hey, I see you're doing this live stream. You want any pictures of it? So I got connected that way. And then it's just kind of grown from there. You mentioned the Bend. I did reach out to them directly.
Yeah, and that's a cool new venue.
It is.
Newish venue.
Newish, yeah. Well, it's an old, like this, right?
Yeah.
It's a very old venue, but
Made new.
rehabilitated and made new, yes.
In West Bend.
In West Bend.
Hence
Yep.
the Bend.
The Bend, yeah. so yeah, it's been a mix, really, of reaching out to the artist and the venue.
Sure. And then once they get to know you, they're like, we want you all the time.
Correct.
And I'm over
Correct.
here like, you can't have them all the time.
Well, and again, like I've done some work with FPC Live. They run the Sylvie, the Majestic, the High Noon Saloon, the places in Madison, and again, they've got basically a whole like Rolodex of photographers that do their shows, and so. Which is good because I could not do them all unless they're going to hire me full time. But
Yeah.
I can kind of like, hey, I really would love to see that artist, or that looks like a really interesting show, would make some great pictures. So I reach out to them and they're like, yeah,
Come on down.
put you on the list. So,
You also were able to go to Blue Ox Festival,
yep.
take some photos there.
Yep.
So that's totally different venue
Yeah,
type of space.
Yeah. And that
You
was.
had no fun there at all.
No, it was miserable. I mean, it was like 100 degrees and it was crazy. But no, I mean, that started out where I saw that Jason Isbell was one of the headliners. Huge fan, right? And I'm like, so I reached out to Blue Ox. I'm like, hey, what do you do for photography? Do you have a staff photographer? What do you, and they're like, well, we already have our photographers under contract for this season. But we could give you free passes, and if you want to come take some pictures, great.
Awesome.
Just share whatever you take with. I'm like, yeah, totally. That's what I do. It's like I take the pictures to share, right? And so I did it, and they're just like, these are so awesome. We've been using so many of your pictures, and
there again,
will you come back next year, and we'll pay you.
That's
So.
awesome. That's awesome. You got some great photos there again of like the exchange between people,
Right.
that happens at a show.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes the band photos are great for their whole separate reason, but being able to show like as a human, this is what happens when you're at a show is cool too.
Right. Right.
And you're really good at capturing that.
Because it's an experience, right? It's a performance, but it's an experience. Coming to the Thrasher is an experience. It's different from other places, and each has its own little thing. And I think that's what I hear people, and I know you hear this too, is people come and they don't know what to expect. And there's like, they look at the place from the outside.
It's
and
a little underwhelming from the outside.
It's underwhelming, yeah. And they get in there and it still is. Even when you get in and it's like, okay, this is quaint, it's nice. And then, it comes alive for them. And a lot of that is the people, right? Between you and Katie and Martha, greeting them at the door, and the volunteers that we have working behind the bar. And I think that sets us apart, is just those interactions.
The smallness of it is actually our biggest benefit.
Oh, Right? There's no waiting in line, you know.
Don't have to
really.
pay for parking.
Right. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it really is. It really
Beers are
is.
only $5.
Yeah.
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 It's a great night out.
It is a great night out. And it's, you know, again, for most of the people, it's close to home. You know, that most of the people that are coming, we get, you know, depending on the artist, obviously, we attract people here from farther away.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see a lot of the same people week after week.
We get some lifelong fans, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the performer is, right? It's like, I think there are people that say, well, if Thrasher booked them, they got to be good. So I'm going to go check it out.
I love hearing that. The other thing that I think is cool that you capture in these photos is that how versatile the space is, because you can have a Max Weinberg that's like high energy, almost the entire show. And then we have another show that's a little bit more, definitely more subdued, but that's what we're driving for. And there's just as much energy. It's just a different type of energy.
Yeah.
I can't think of one of those examples off the top of my head. I'm thinking Dala, but that was way before you were here.
But no, but it comes across in the imagery. It has to, right? Because I'm basically just capturing what's happening.
Yeah, and people are like captivated in one way or another,
right?
Depending on the genre of music, and that I think that's easier to do. Get a little lost in the music when you're in this quaint space, just really engaged with the artist.
Well, you're so close, right? Even if you're sitting in the back, you know,
11 rows is the farthest you're going to be back.
Yeah. So it is. It's. I mean, I can stand in the back of the room and get great pictures. You know.
My favorite shots that you've been taking are the ones where you're behind the artist, taking a photo behind them towards the audience. Yeah. Those are really cool.
I was really scared the first time I did that because I'm like, I do not want to, you know, cause a ruckus. I don't want to.
It kind of scared me too because I saw some movement. And I thought, what is happening? And
I think that was Brett Newski. I think was the first one that I went back there for. So I think it was just him on the stage, and that was one of the pandemic sessions, so there were only like, you know, 20, 30 people in the audience total. And I'm like,
now's the time to try it.
Let's try it. Let's try it. Yeah.
No, it turned out
great.
great.
And I actually, you know, I entered that one of those photos from behind him. I included it in the exhibit that I had here, and I actually entered it in a black and white photo contest for Wisconsin artists and venues. So we'll see.
That's awesome. Is the contest still happening?
It is, yes. I believe the voting takes place in April.
Oh, okay. Well, be sure to let us know to vote on it. We'll put it out on the e-blast, and we'll make sure people know that they can vote.
I don't know if it's. I think there's a panel of judges. I don't think
people can't vote.
I don't.
I mean, they're people, but
right.
Not people like us.
Correct. So which is you know.
That's
it's different.
Cool. That's
not
a different level.
Right. And it's not a popularity contest per se, right? Where a lot of the stuff that, you know, where it's vote via social media. And
if you are in one of those, let us know because
I will.
We would love to cast some votes in your popularity contest. So a question that I ask a lot of people, what's the concert that surprised you the most at the Thrasher for one reason or another? Or maybe not just at Thrasher.
You know,
because you've seen so many. Right. So is there one that sticks out?
I'll stick to Thrasher, just because just this last year there were a couple that surprised me because, you know, I came for the main act, right? And in a couple of places, like with Carsey Blanton, I didn't even know that there was going to be an opening act until I showed up, and that was Milton. And it was great. It was one of those where I think everybody was kind of like, well, what's this? This isn't what I came for.
Well, and with a name like Milton, it's kind of like when you walk up to the Thrasher, you're a little underwhelmed.
Right. But he won the crowd over. I mean, you could see it. You could see that he won the crowd over.
He had a great personality because that goes with it too. It's not just like how you sound on the stage. It's how entertaining you are as a whole. And he really was.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really treasure about the Thrasher too, is because it's not just a performance, it's a dialogue, right? Because of the size of the space, the artists are having a conversation with the audience.
Right. You're not in an arena where all you see are these little dots
Right.
of people. You are like
Right.
close to that front row, and you drop your pick and they hand it back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the other one that surprised me was drawn a blank on the name right now. Opened up for Willie Porter. It was the husband.
Sunday and Mr.
Sunday
Gessel.
and Mr. Gessel. Yeah. It was just like, all right. Had no idea what to expect and was just entertained.
Yes.
And in a great way, right? Just the music, the personality, the whole thing.
Her dad jokes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
See, it was good.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I envy people who like retain jokes. I am not able to do that.
Yeah.
Like I'll hear a good joke.
I've got like 2 of them that I actually remember, and they aren't good.
What is one of them?
You don't want me to tell it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I don't actually remember.
No, I remember, and it's not dirty or anything. It's just really bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll never know. But no,
DM me.
I guess she was really entertaining in that way.
Yes.
What about other venues?
Other venues where I've
Been
seen
pleasantly surprised by something you weren't
surprised.
And we can totally skip this part if nothing comes to your mind.
No, like I said, it's so often I've found the surprises are in the opening acts. Because usually when I go to see someone, either I'm going because I know of them, I've made myself familiar with them.
Right. I have one, actually. This was way before I worked at Thrasher. Ryan and his parents and I went to see Dropkick Murphys
Oh, sure. Yeah.
somewhere in Madison. I can't even remember where.
Okay.
And the band opened for them called Skinny Lister.
Skinny Lister.
And to this day, I really like Skinny Lister. I would love to have them come to Thrasher. I mean, I think other people would come.
Yeah.
I'd have to do the proper research.
Have you reached out?
Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
Okay.
But I don't even remember any of the main act. I don't remember. Nothing was noteworthy to me because I was so excited about the
That's hard to
opening.
believe because Dropkick Murphys put on a hell of a show,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
Yeah,
I've
anyway.
not seen them live, but everybody says their live show is amazing.
I'm sure it was amazing. I'm sure I loved it too.
Yeah.
But I love the first thing more.
Yeah.
Discovery, I'll say it again. I've said it so many times, but that is my favorite part of this job. It's
Yeah.
just discovering new things.
Right.
There's no substitute for that. Like going to something you know you're going to love, that is great.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yep.
But taking a chance and discovering something that is brand new to you is just one of the coolest things.
Well, and I'll say, too, it's interesting that because of the artists that I've been exposed to here at the Thrasher and at other places, you know, I will listen to them on Spotify to like kind of, you know, what am I getting into here, right? And then the album ends, and you know how Spotify goes into, it starts playing a radio set list or whatever based upon that artist.
Links
and
you
then,
to something
right,
else.
and all of a sudden you're like, oh my, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Jack Skellington at Christmas. You
Yeah.
know? What's this? What's
the
this?
world of music, there's just so many talented artists out there, and you don't even know who they are right now. Like
Right.
people, it's
and
incredible.
that brings us kind of full circle to the conversation I had with Willie, right? Because he's like, well, I want to pay you, man. And he's a man.
Of course
And I was
he
like, no. I said, because I want to help the artists that nobody has heard of, right? That nobody knows. I want to help them get out in front of people. Because I'm always amazed how much talent is out there. And the stuff that you turn on the radio and the stuff that's kind of pushed down your throat. Yeah, okay. I truly believe that even the stuff that I can't stand, that those people have talent, right? They wouldn't be where they were, I hope, without talent. But there are so many people that have as much, if not more, talent that just haven't met the right person or performed in the right place or gotten the right break. And some of them said, you know, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want
to be commercialized.
Right. I don't want to not be able to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that trade-off.
Yeah. Another thing to go back to what we were talking to earlier, you can meet the Thrasher artists after the show.
Many times, yeah.
I bet you've had some great conversations with people. Like, I always try to give them a heads up that you're taking photos, but sometimes I don't always get to. I get to their manager or something, but they don't get the memo. I'm sure they're really appreciative of what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I often get, and again, if it's not at the show directly, I mean, I share the pictures. I reach out to, I'll go to their website and I'll reach out to whoever their contact is and be like, hey, here's a folder of pictures that I took at the show at the Thrasher. Do with them what you want. You know, I appreciate it if you can give me credit when you use them. I understand you can't do that in all instances, but that's not why I'm doing it. I enjoy doing it. I'm doing it for the Thrasher, and I'm here, and here they are. You use them. You know, get it out there. And yeah, it's that has helped definitely in getting my name out there. And again, it's not necessarily why I do it, but it has opened doors to do some other things, right? Things that I enjoy.
Well, I'm going to put a plug out there. If anybody's looking for photography, you don't just do concerts, you do family portraits and stuff like that. So Ric is our recommendation of who to call. And when I have this baby, I might ask you, I might hire you to take some photos of her. So
you're not going to do the maternity photos?
No. Is that bad? I don't want to.
No, I'm always, that's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Anyway, we're so grateful for what you do here at Thrasher and for musicians and venues everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and again, it gets back to, I was kind of taken aback when you asked me to be on the board. And I was hesitant because I'm like, and I think we had the conversation. I'm like, well, what's the financial expectation? Because I understand that that's a huge part of being a director on a board is the contributions that you bring. And that was part of the conversation that I had, again, getting back to the conversation I had with Willie is, I work for a nonprofit, so I don't get a big paycheck. And I've got 2 kids, going through college right now. And I can't give a lot to different places. I'd love to. I give a little bit here and there, to the things that I enjoy and I support. But I feel like giving of my talents.
That's huge.
Yeah, and if that helps, then that's my gift.
That's been a huge thing for Thrashers. People, giving of their time, their talent.
Right.
That's what makes this all work. It's not always all about money. I mean, we certainly appreciate those gifts too. But it takes more than that to make it happen. Right. And this has been such a gift for us to have this treasure of photos of all of our artists. I mean, we don't have that archive otherwise.
Well, and I know that the pictures I've taken have been used. Like I know when you did the Pine Travelers, right? You got some grants.
Yeah, Arts Midwest used it, man.
Right. And so again, they're looking for that, right? And so when you can give that to them,
it's a great contribution.
Here's what we did with the money you gave us, and you can show that, the more likely they are to the next time you guys ask for money, give you money.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And again, it exposes you to other donors as well, I hope. So
it's all connected, man. Well, thank you for all
bet.
the photos. We'll keep them coming.
Love I'm thankful for the opportunity. I really am, because like
you win-win.
said, it is a win-win. I love it.
All right. You're the best. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. That's it, eh?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.